know I can do it. I can do it 'cause it's Tuesday Internet. What up, Internet? Yeah! Is it Tuesday? I don't know. I think so. Maybe it's Tuesday. I don't know. Is it Tuesday? It might be Tuesday. I'm pretty sure it's Tuesday. I think that it's Tuesday. It might not be, but I think that it's Tuesday. Huh! Is it Tuesday? Huh! Tuesday, I think it's Tuesday. Internet! What up, Internet? What are you doing? What is going on? It's happening. It's Tuesday. Yeah. Who's first to the chat? Who was that? Wushu Jimmy Brown. Newly appointed moderator Steven Skoglund. What's up? Wushu Jimmy Brown with the two-time. I'm saying it twice because twice is so nice. Jennifer J. Sarchicino. Teresa Cookie. What up? Steve missed the first one because I was at work. Yeah, I know. Some people was at work. That's okay. I believe it'll upload... Excuse me. Was that like a sneeze? I don't know what that was. That was weird. But it will upload as a podcast or a video, I'm sure. So if you want to check that out, you can. Those of you that are not don't have a clue what I'm talking about. Corey and I, Corey of the Aquarium Co-op and myself have teamed up. We're making a podcast. We're working on a podcast. We're doing a long format show. It's happening, and today was probably the inaugural one. Next, there'll be another one next week. Yeah. And that's what's going on. So that was on the Jimmy of Aquarium Co-op's channel. So if you don't know who that is, I don't know where you've been. Living in the closet? Living in a cave? Living in a barn? Who knows where you've been. But, excuse me, this chair is weird. And it's a little warm in here today. I don't know why it's so warm in here. Kathy Robadoo. Kathy R, what's up? Jennifer J. Sarchicino, how you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for coming out today. Nick K. Aquatics, what's up? Aquaman's here. HC Aqua. Grumpy Santa is lurker status. Roger Denham, what's up? Lisa C. is finally back. Where did Lisa C. go? We need information. If you've been gone, where did you go, and why have you returned? Oh, I guess she already did down there further. Okay, we'll figure it out. Nick K's lurker mode engaged. Jordan Leroy's here. Jordan Leroy is here. What is going on? Kieran Egan is here. What's up, dude? V-Stag is here. Hey, FU2 is here. Mr. Joshua, what's up? 54 Punchy. What's up, fishy internets? Oh, I like that. Fishy internets. Turbo Fish is here. What's up? Phil Emerson has arrived. Lisa C says, not much change. Saddled females with no babies, but I've been away, so only managed one water change to fix the GH. Okay, well, hopefully that's where coming along well. Karen KZ Ellis is here. How you doing? Let's see. Oh, what's this? Oh, what's this? Turbofish says to like and share. Like and share. Homie Jesus. Yeah, hit that like button down there. I don't know why it's a big deal. Apparently it's a big deal. I don't know. The stupid algorithm says it's a big deal, and it's a robot, and we can't argue with robots because they are evil or something. I don't know. They can't be argued with. They can't even be reasoned with. Speaking of that, I watched Blade Runner last night, the original Blade Runner. And if anybody has some kind of sneak peek of the new Blade Runner, I do not want to know. I don't want to know anything. If you somehow saw it ahead of time, do not spoil it for me. I will freak out because Blade Runner is one of my favorite movies of all time. And I'm super excited for the next one coming out. We're going to see it Saturday morning. It's on. I'm stoked. We even watched the old one again. I made Vicky watch it again because I love it, and it's awesome. It's awesome, and I'm so excited for the new one. And it better be good. I hope it's good. We'll see. All right, sorry about that movie sidebar, but I was always so inspired by the original Blade Runner. The cinematography, the soundtrack. I mean, the acting, I don't know, the acting's all right, but the dialogue is crazy. The storyline is nuts. I just love it, and I'm excited. So I'm just letting people know I'm excited, and if you spoil it for me, I'm going to freak out, and I don't know. I'm not going to, like, really do anything other than freak out, I guess. Empty threat. Sorry, empty threat. Just don't spoil it for me, please. That would suck. Hey, FU2 is here. What is up? Yes, it is Tuesday. I had to listen to Def Leppard songs on the radio. My current playlist today has been hot tracks of Mastodon. I've been listening to the full catalog of Mastodon. That's what I've been listening to today. And if you don't like metal, you might not get along with Miss Biddy Brown, because Miss Biddy Brown is a big fan of metal. She will come in and rock out with me anytime it's time to rock out. She will come in and she'll just casually wag her tail. You'd think maybe she'd go wild, but she doesn't go wild. She just casually wags and just goes, hey, that's my jam, you know. Hey, yeah. She just likes it. Carson Anderson is here. What's up, dude? Dank Tanks has arrived. Let's see. Jennifer J. Sarchicino says, it was great. I don't know if you've seen it already, but do not spoil it for me. I'm going to freak out. Lisa C. I was in the UK enrolling for a PhD. Well, congratulations on that. I hope you get it. I hope you get into your PhD action. That is pretty cool. That's exciting. What is the PhD going to be? That's the question, isn't it? Isn't that the question at this point? What is the PhD going to be? All right, let's see here. Dr. Red Pill is here. How you doing? It takes a while to get buried shrimp at Lisa C. Fixing the water should be done over time. Yeah, good point, Jordan. That's great advice on the shrimps. Just go easy on the shrimps. Just go easy on the shrimps. You're not gonna fix it overnight. Just do those slow changes. Get things going properly into that situation. Let's see. Jennifer's been spending your day catching up on live streams. Well, yeah, this is my second live stream of the day. Whew, I don't know if anybody can handle a couple of hours of me yammering, but if that's the case and that's something that you enjoy, today's the day for you. So we'll see if anybody likes it or not. Well, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Yeah, I don't know. I already did that whole thing. Let's not do that. Let's not do that, guys. Let's see. Hello, good evening, and I can't stay long. Okay, Mary Beth can't stay long, but hello. Let's see. Travis Hemming says, fantastic stream earlier, a nano miracle, if you will. Just a minor nano miracle. I like that. I wish I had a bell in here, because then I could, you know, every time a bell rings, the angel gets its wings, right? Phil Emerson is asking, Joel, did you buy that big tank? I am confused by that question, so elaborate, Philip. Phil, elaborate, and I will answer what you got going on. As you guys know, this the beginning 10-15 minutes, I'm just kind of answering your guys' question, and then we'll get into the video portion, which is coming up. And I forget what I titled. What did I title? The Hot Track episode 50,000 million. How to cycle an aquarium super fast. That's what we're doing today. We're going to talk about bacterias, nitrifying bacteria, the good stuff, right? And how to do it super fast. How are you going to cycle your tank super fast? The way that I recommend how to do it. Excuse me. Waiting for them. Nisi is saying, isn't that the movie with the actor and the plot and the musics? Yes. and the films. It's also got the films in it too. Jim Meeker, Blade Runner rocks. Hoping the new one is good. I really hope the new one is good. It looks awesome. I know that they have almost everybody from the original production is involved. So I hope it's awesome. I hope it is rad. I'm really excited to see how that's going to go. I can't wait to hear the soundtrack. I can't wait to hear all the work on that. Let's see. Steve says Mastodon is great. Yes, they are great. They're a fantastic band. If you like metal and you don't know who Mastodon is, that's weird. Roger Deadham's been listening to Ghost. Oh, they're good too. Phil Emerson, they need to redo Logan's Run. Oh, that would be a good remake. They'd be able to remake that pretty well, I'll admit. I like metal as well. Listen to Clutch, Elephant Riders at work today. Ooh, that is a great album. That is a fantastic album. Dank Tanks, look up... oh, what's the lead singer of... Whatever the lead singer's name of Clutch is, he sung on some Mastodon tracks because they played together. He sung on some live performances. Check that out. It is intense. So, honestly, just a hot tip. Check it out on the YouTubes. Lisa C is pretty excited. It will be about bookbinding history. Boring for most, but that's my jam. Oh, right on. That is interesting, honestly. Didn't even know you could get a PhD in bookbinding. That's wild. I knew a guy who had a PhD in music, and he was a big pain in the butt. But overall, cool dude. Dr. Red Pill is asking, what is it with my water? Everything is breeding like crazy. Millions of shrimp and multis, not to mention guppies. I don't know. I don't know what it is with your water. Aquarium Coop is here. Hey, man, your name is not Mud. Your name's Corey. It's a good song, though. Jordan Leroy, I think it was the 400-gallon acrylic tank. Oh, there was a 480 that was for sale. There was a 480-gallon tank that was for sale. No, I didn't buy that tank. I was just saying it was a beautiful tank that was for sale. It was already built. It was already constructed, and I was just looking at it and going, "Wow, that's so pretty." But during that, when we were talking about that online, it was that there's no way I would be able to, no way I'd be able to get a 480 in our living situation that we have now with the. And not to say that we don't have space. I mean, we technically do have the space for it. It just wouldn't work with Vicky and I's relationship that I'm just going like, yeah, I'm just going to add this other one tank here or whatever. As we talked about on the live stream was that one of our huge goals on the Patreon here, if anybody has been to the Patreon or maybe you haven't been to the Patreon, I don't know. One of our huge lofty goals on there is to possibly do a gigantic 22,000 gallon tank. And as I was talking about in the live stream was that, yes, we do have some giant goals on there, which are kind of crazy. And that's one of the big goals. And then I was talking about that 480. That 480 wouldn't go over well as far as our relationship goes. But that 22,000 gallon aquarium is something that we could do because it would improve the property here. I did negotiate with my future bride that that's something that might happen at some point in time, and she said, hey, if that gets funded, you can do it. So that is why I got the okay. But a 480 wouldn't. I mean, I've already got a 240, a 180, a 150, all that stuff going on. It's not really that big of a jump up tank or anything like that. So if that makes sense. If that makes sense, that's what I was talking about. I wasn't going to buy it. That is one of the big goals is to do that giant 22,000 gallon aquarium. Now the reason we want to do that 22,000 gallon aquarium is because it would be a modular tank, and what that means is that we'd be able to load it up and take it places. We'd have to put it on a semi trailer and drive it out, but I do know the people with the trucks and the licenses and all the nonsense to be able to do that. So if, like, for instance, let's just say there was the big Denver aquarium show. There's a big one there. I can't remember the name of it, but let's just say there's one in Denver, and we could bring that giant aquarium, truck it down there, and like set it up in the parking lot. And then people that have been watching the whole setup of all that stuff, that were, for instance, going to Denver, could actually come down and check it out in person and see that thing. So that was kind of the thought process, the idea behind it. It's obviously a huge, it would be a huge undertaking to do. There's not very many people out there showing off how to work with those giant systems. Now, I'm going to be doing a smaller version of that here on the property anyhow, as soon as I kind of get some funding together to do it, is going to be the aquaponics system that's going to be running a big pond, and it's going to be running into a greenhouse, along with all of the water from the fish room and stuff like that. So that's going to be a really interesting project that I am for sure going to do, that will be coming down the line as things get done. The pad is done for the greenhouse. Now I'm just going to start erecting the greenhouse fairly soon. So that is going to happen, and this would be a much bigger, cooler project realistically. So, you know, I don't know. It's a big lofty goal, but why not have oh, excuse me, why not have big lofty goals, right? Dave's Nano Tank says, old rocker here, Zepp head. I cannot get into Led Zeppelin, mainly because they stole most of their songs. I can't get into that. I can't get into Led Zeppelin. They're great musicians. Agreed. They're great musicians, great singer, great drummer, all that stuff. If they just hadn't stolen their music, I could probably get more into Led Zeppelin. But them being plagiarists really turns me off. Even when I'm like, oh yeah, this is really good, I just go Led Zeppelin. Ugh, damn it. It's somebody else's song. They stole it. Blech. Even if they do have original songs, they stole so many songs, it's ridiculous. So, not to say that you can't like them, that's just why I don't. Let's see. Nisi says, we're getting so close to the ad-free goal for the show. Please take a moment to show your appreciation for what this awesome guy does. Oh, thank you for calling me an awesome guy. I like that. That's cool. She's posted the Patreon there in the chat, and I started reading it out loud. Let's see here. 1,000-gallon tank in the kitchen and order out. Oh, so like just get rid of me cooking dinner every night and start ordering out. I don't know if that's really going to be all that cost effective. I don't know if that's going to be that cost effective realistically. Honestly, I don't think that would really be cost effective to be operating with a giant tank like that and then just decide to order food. Plus, I'd get all sick. I can't eat out that much. That food is just so rank. Eating out is just not a great idea, although we do. Jim Meeker says, can you imagine a giant aquarium going down the interstate highway? That'd be awesome. Oh, Gone Mad's out to dinner with Iris. We'll watch later. Lisa C has a nitrite question. What does it mean when you get a 0.1 to 0.2 part per million nitrite reading in a 6-month-old tank? Is the tiny kit filter not keeping up with the load? It sounds like you're not cycled, if that's the case, if that's what's going on. But I would also check your test. I would check your test. If you're using... My guess would be that you're probably using the test strips. I would probably throw those out. But Lisa, what kind of test kit are you using? That's what would be my main question right now. Candy wants a greenhouse. Don't we all? We all want a greenhouse. That is for sure. Let's see. Eating out is a great every so often, but in my humble opinion, a home-cooked meal is best. I agree with Joel. Yeah, I have to cook. I have to cook from home. I can't eat out all that often. When we do it, like if we're like out and we have to eat like 3 meals out, I just start waking up feeling like total garbage. Realistically, Lisa C. JBL liquid test. Okay, so you do have a decent test. I would what I would do is something has stopped your cycle. Basically, if you're getting nitrite readings consistently, you are, yeah, as Dave is saying here, you probably have chloramines in your water or something like that. You are probably not, and this isn't like this isn't a slight at you or anything like that, but you may not be dechlorinating your water correctly. It sounds like some chlorine or some kind of something got into your system and maybe stopped your cycle. And if that's the case, then you need to figure out what that is. And the best thing that you can do is what's going to happen here in the video segment. I'm going to show you guys what to do here, up close and personal, the way that I go about it and the way that I cycle tanks quickly. And this is in my humble years of experience, the easiest way to go about it. Excuse me. Let's see here. Let me catch up. Steven Scoggin was just catching up on chat. Mastodon is awesome. Yes, they are awesome. I would love to go see them live again. But now it's probably going to be too crowded. It's going to be too crowded to go see them, so maybe I won't. I don't know. Let's see. Pretty eclectic here. Every genre has 2 or 3 great acts and hundreds of corporate imitators. Oh, that's pretty true. That's pretty true. But yeah, so as Dave is saying, the nitrite problems is probably chloramines or chlorine or something. Maybe you did a water change and it didn't get that would be the first culprit that I would look at, is having done a water change and not dechlorinated properly or something along those lines would be the quickest culprit that I would look for. Pleco Steve is best way to keep a quarantine tank cycled between fish. Ooh, stay tuned for the video, because that is I'm going to address that too. That is the same video today. That is the same video portion that is coming up here in just a second. And as you guys know, here comes the commercial part. Check out the Patreon. Go to darkstararts.com, click through the Amazon banner, hit the like button, the subscribe button, come here and chat and do all that stuff, and that's how you support. And boom, that was a 19-second commercial. There we go. Much faster. I like it. Good. Thank you. And thanks to everybody for patronizing and watching and all that stuff. Let's see. Yes, yeesh. YouTube just notified me that that we're live. You should probably check that out. Yeah, it's a good point. I want to know about eggshells. Mary Beth, they come out of a chicken's butt, and they have a yolk inside them. They're delicious. I get them outside. I don't. What do you want to know about eggshells? I need more. If you have a question, you gotta you gotta do me a favor. You gotta put a question together. Not to be slighting anybody, but you have to frame it in the form of a question. Thank you. Yeah, fuzzy fish. I heard of people putting them in the oven for a bit. Oh, maybe okay, my bad. Excuse me. Let's see. I missed something in the chat here. Will ground up eggshells help with calcium for my aquarium? Oh, sorry, Mary Beth. I read your question first. And not the whole thing. Sorry about that. I was just trying to. That's my bad. I apologize. Yes, you can add them, but you do have to boil them ahead of time, and just make sure that you're not using eggshells from the grocery store. Okay. So, if you come to my house and you eat eggs at my house, my eggs come from my backyard. There's chickens out there. And there are chickens out there where they poop out eggs, and then I go collect them and I bring them back in here, right? So I feed them, and they scratch around in the yard, and they eat worms, and they do all that kind of stuff, and they make eggs. Baking them isn't really gonna do all that much for them. But the easiest way to add a little bit of calcium to your tank, honestly, Teresa is saying cuttlefish bones as it's easier. Yeah, I use oyster shells and just throw them in the sump. That is the easiest way to do it, in my opinion. But don't use eggshells from the grocery store. They're treated with chlorine. So, I mean, obviously you have to boil them anyhow, and that's most likely going to get them off. But what other chemicals did they put on there to clean the eggs? Who knows? You're not really going to know exactly what could be on there. With the oyster shells, I normally buy ground up oyster shells and we give them to the chickens, right? I just take a little bit of that and throw it in the sump. Not a big deal. With the calcium being low in your tank, I would always test for it and make sure that that is accurate. That you actually are low on calcium, and that because you could have. The easiest way for shrimp is just to make sure that you're adding calcium feed, that you're adding feed that actually has calcium in it. More often than not, that is going to be a lot of the green feeds out there. One of the easy ways to supplant your calcium intake for shrimp specifically would be to get duckweed. Get your duckweed, which, as you guys know, I normally have duckweed growing in my sump. Scoop it out from the top there. Put it in a blender, blend it up, and put it out on a cookie sheet and let it dry. Let it dry out there, and then you have a green flake food that's going to have plenty of calcium in it. Yes, Nisi is asking, what can you test? Wait, you can test for calcium? Yes, that is going to be in the Master Reef. That is going to be in the Master Reef kit, is the calcium test. Is in the Master Reef kit, not the Master Freshwater kit. You know, the API freshwater kit that everyone has? It's the one that's right next to it. Wait, how do we do this here? It's the one right next to it. That's the Reef kit. It's a little bit of a pain to test for it, but not a big deal. Not a super huge deal if you know how to use the test kits. I mean, I could walk people through that, but it's pretty straightforward, honestly. Lisa C, are all dechlorinators equally good? I use Denarel. I don't really know if the brand is good or not. Also, with a chlorine test. Hey, man! What is with these dogs today? These dogs have been barking on everybody's show. Denarel is a respected product. Honestly, it should be fine as far as the dechlorinator. I don't use it personally. The ones that I use are the Chem variety. I use Safe and Prime are the two that I use. She's also asking, would a chlorine test kit test for chloramine? Chloramine is more difficult to test for. The easiest way to find out if chloramines are being added is check your local water system. Wherever your water is coming from in any first world country, they have to give you a water report. I mean, not every single country, okay, almost all of them. Almost all of them have to give you a water report. I know locally here in Tacoma, I can go up online and check at any time and see if they're adding chloramines or chlorine or how much whatever they're adding to the water is for sure something. Nisi's asking, Jimmy, is circling your house dressed as the UPS man? UPS again? Yes. We are coming up on Victoria's very busy season. Victoria is going to be slamming busy. She's going to be stressed out. She's gonna have steam coming out of her ears. Her hair will be all mussed up and she'll be going and going crazy. We're coming up on a really busy season, and the UPS guys keep dropping off big boxes full of paper out front. I can't really tell you what's printed on the paper because I haven't opened the boxes, but I assure you it's probably insurance information, you know, for people on Medicaid and Medicare and all that kind of stuff. But she's going to be super duper busy coming up, and that's why the UPS guy keeps dropping off stuff on our porch. I wish we were getting something cool, but it's not. It's not even for me or us. Although I did get something cool. I got a really cool present from Vicky for the aquatic experience. She got me a big battery pack so that I can charge my phone while we're at the aquatic experience. So if we're at the convention center, I'm not running around looking for a an outlet to like plug my phone in or try to stay up on what's going on or do any kind of live stream or any of that kind of stuff from the aquatic experience. She got me a big battery pack that actually goes into my backpack and then hooks up inside it. So there's actually a I almost said UPS plug. There's a UPS plug on the outside of it, and it's really brown. No, the USB plug is on the outside of the pack, so that I can just plug into the outside of it, and then like plug in my phone and keep my stuff going. So that was super cool. I can't give you guys a review on it yet because I haven't utilized its power, but I'll be utilizing its power this weekend, and we'll see how it works. If it's super awesome, I'll let you guys know. I don't know how much it costs though, so I don't know. But the aquatic experience is coming up. It is only 1 month away, and we'll be flying. Just me. Well, actually, if I say we, because Corey and Jimmy are coming. I did notice that Flip Aquatics is coming. He's coming. Rob's going to be there. I know that like LR Bretts is going to be there. Bob Steenfont. I always say Steenfont. I don't know why, but it's Steenfont. I say his name wrong. But there's going to be a whole bunch of fun people there. It's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, I think I'm going to be stoked for it. Either way, my phone won't be dead the whole time while I'm there. So that's cool, right? Jordan Leroy saying, what brand is the battery pack? I'm not sure. It has a funny name, though. It kind of sucks that I brought it up because it's not sitting right here. Oh, I think it's sitting out in the living room, but I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out if it works good, and I'll let you guys know. It's but he's saying it's a 20,000 milliamp. This one is 20,000 milliamp too, I think. So they were saying that I could charge my phone like 5 or 6 times off of it. So that should be pretty good. Like a USB, but dogs don't like it. That's right. That's right. It's the UPS plug. It's like a USB, only dogs will bark at it a whole bunch. It might be Aki. I don't know. I'd have to go get it, and I don't want to go get it. Dave's Nanotank says Clifton, New Jersey has chloramine. That is for sure. Let's see. Dr. Red Pill says, Joel, how would you add calcium to a tank for guppies and shrimp that also has cories in it? Same food. Duckweed, grind it up. That's the way I would do it. I'm not saying that everybody has to do it that way, but that's the way that I would do it. You can also, peas are a good way to do it. Frozen peas, not canned peas. Peas are really good. Frozen peas are really good, not canned peas. Do not add canned peas. Don't do it. Peas are great for vitamin C, fiber, magnesium, and calcium. Green frozen peas are the easiest way, but duckweed, like I said, most of us have duckweed grown in a tank. The cool thing is that it's grown in a tank. It has bacteria on it, which is good. That is actually helpful. Then you can put it in a blender, blend it up with a little bit of fish tank water, and then let it dry out on a cookie sheet, and then you have your own homemade food. Okay, yeah, he's got lots of duckweed and heaps of peas in there. Yeah, so throw that all in there and you'll be fine. Roger Deadham, what's up? Hey, Corvus, I'm battling a milk white bacteria bloom for the last 2 days in my 75-gallon planted aquarium. Test reads 0 across the board. I've done a 90% water change. Any advice? Stop with the water changes immediately. Stop with 90% water change. 90% water change will increase your bacterial bloom. That will make it worse. Drop your light down just a little bit. I mean, depending on what it is. If you're only at like 4 hours of light, then don't worry about it. But if you have excessive amount of light, then you need to start doing 5 to 10% daily water changes. Just a little bit of a water change every single day, and that will start to clear up. But since you did the 90% water change, it's going to get worse. So prepare yourself for that. You just got to put on your big boy pants and get ready to battle this madness, because you are in wackadoodle madness. And not to say that you screwed up, but your intentions were good. But trust me, I did the exact same thing. And I thought, like, I'm doing the best I can here. What's going on? And it just kept getting worse, and it just kept getting worse. And I ended up talking to, this is many, many years ago, but I talked to a many learned aged fish keeper, and he was like, he's telling me the exact same thing I'm telling you. Don't do those giant water changes. Start doing small water changes, like 5% daily, okay? And, you know, if you have a 50-gallon tank, you know, just do like half of a 5-gallon bucket every day, and it'll start to clear up. But it's a battle, and it's going to take a week and a half, 2 weeks, and there just isn't much you can do, honestly. So that's just going to be the hardest thing to do. Lisa C, if I'm unknowingly putting chloramine in my tanks, could that be what's affecting my shrimp? Yes, absolutely. That can absolutely be affecting your shrimp big time. That's why I use Safe and Prime. If I'm doing really snazzy tanks or whatever, I generally only use Safe more often than not, because it will bust out some of the chlorine. Most of the chlorine will evaporate, but Safe will bind with chloramines and help your tank, if you have a cycle tank, help get rid of the chloramines from the tank. They're much larger, and they don't evaporate. That's the reason why they put chloramines in municipal water, is because it won't evaporate, which can be a problem over long distances. If the water's traveling really far, they'll add chloramines just as an added benefit to keep people safe, honestly. Let's see, Kathy Robido, I just panicked and got the eggshells out of my tank. Surprised I didn't kill my fish. Dumb moment, forgot to boil the eggshells. It's not a big deal if you don't boil your eggshells, honestly. One of the biggest reasons you want to do that is just to make sure that whatever chemical may or may not have been on that treated eggshell from the store. Just remember, stuff that's sold in stores for food has a lot of weird stuff on it, because it's not dangerous to us. It won't hurt us. It won't, well, all right, let me rephrase that. It won't hurt us as much as it'll hurt our fish. We're just much bigger. And, you know, like, if we drink the chlorine in our water, it doesn't affect us because we're much bigger. So I wouldn't stress out too much about those eggshells. Just, if they've already been in the tank, it's probably already going to be in there, and it's not a super big deal, whatever may or may not have been in there. What is that? Oh, okay. May or may not have been in there, might not be a big problem at this point, but it's probably not going to kill them. So, you know. Let's see. Wait, hold on. Managed to kill duckweed, UPS, United Puppy Smashers. Hello, Turtle Girl. Hey, what's going on? Fashionably late as always, for sure. Let's see. Magic, haha. I found out your name from Jimmy when I did the live stream when he was playing Little Nightmares. Oh, hey, Saul. Oh, who's Saul? Oh, I don't know who Saul is. I don't know. Sergeant Tank Jeremy's here. Hey, it's always been my phrase. Time to take off the pull-ups and put on the big boy. Put the big boy pants on. Yep. So 54 Punchy says, good to know. I've been having milky water problems in your 29. Same thing. You just want to start doing those small water changes, and that bacteria will start balancing out. I know a lot of people would recommend doing the water sterilizer. I don't personally do that, because whatever problem could have been going on with what's been unbalanced will essentially come back if once the bulb burns out. sometimes. But I try not to do those drastic equipment repairs, if that makes sense. I've emailed our water services. In the meantime, is it possible to overdose dechlorinator? Not with Safe and not with Prime. That's one of the big reasons I use those. I don't know about the Denorel one that you have, whether or not you can overdose with that or not. I'm not sure what the chemical makeup is on those and whatnot. I actually took one of the half-gallon bottles of Prime and dumped it into a bucket with fish in it just to prove a point once when I was at the store. And guess what? Fine and dandy like sour candy. So that's one of the reasons I like Prime. Dr. Red Pill had to redo his central air system. Oh, okay. Hi, Bracken. Oh, Bracken's here. What's up, Bracken? One of my fellow Tacomanites. What are Tacomers? People from Tacoma. What are people from Tacoma? I don't know. But we're super late on the video portion. Let's go to the video portion. All right. So as the title says here, this is all about cycling a tank. And here's my super ghetto sump light. I wanted to show you guys just exactly how ghetto my sump light is before I went installing it in there. And you can watch me screw it in there. It just happens to be part of this video. But mainly because it was so dark underneath my sump here that I was starting to do some work in it and realized, oh man, I gotta put this light in here before I do anything else because y'all won't be able to see the video. You won't be able to see the video, you know, and that's really a problem when you just shoot really dark video. Sometimes it's spooky, but we're not quite to Halloween yet, even though Halloween has already begun at my house. The decorations are all up out front. We're already ready for it. That is a hood-style sump light. That is right, Dank Tanks. I'm actually using 6 GU10 bulbs, and the reason for that is I'm going to have a little plank. I'm going to have a plank. I'm going to have a plant, essentially what's called a refugium and a reef. I'm basically going to be growing. I'm going to be growing them. I'm going to be growing plants in my sump. I'm going to be growing plants in my sump, and that is the reason for installing this light, because the middle chamber in my sump is going to be growing plants, and you'll get a better overview of the sump once I get this thing screwed in here in the video. But as I was mentioning earlier, in the title of this is the whole reason for this is how to cycle an aquarium in a very effective, quick manner. And why that's important is because honestly, a lot of us get fish in and we haven't thought ahead of time about quarantining. We haven't thought about quarantining our fish ahead of time because we're at the store and we go, oh my God, they got that fish. They got that fish that I've always wanted. I've got a tank. I could put it in the tank. I'm ready. But then oftentimes we get excited. We get ants in our pants, and maybe we just don't have our big boy pants on at the store, and we just go, oh my God, I gotta buy those. I've got the $28. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get these guys. I'm gonna get these fish, and we're not ready to quarantine when we get home, and we go, oh crap, what am I gonna do now? Well, how I do it is the same way that I'm cycling this new 150-gallon aquarium. I have extra media in my sumps. All right, in my fully cycled tanks, I have extra media inside the sumps. This actually came up on the it's kind of funny because this came up on the podcast with Corey earlier, as we were talking about biomedia, and this is one of the reasons why I don't spend a ton of money on biomedia, because I want lots of it. I want as much as I can possibly get to fit in my gigantic sumps so that I'm ready for stuff like this. And as the video moves along, we'll go over and get a shot of the other tank and where I'm getting the media out of. So it'll be coming up pretty quickly here. So I'm going to answer a little of the chat real quick. Turtle Girl Tacominians. Oh, I like that. I just realized why Corey likes hanging out with you, because you're from Tacoma. Oh, good point. Good point. But I'm not originally from Tacoma. I'm actually originally from closer to where Corey lives. Right now, I broke my nose drilling like that once. Dank Tanks. Yeah, I broke my nose. I think the last count was 8 times. I think I broke my nose, something like that. Is that the light from the video you made like 2 years ago? That is one of them, actually. Yeah, that's one of those lights from the GU10 build that I did a couple years ago. That was for that 180. Dr. Red should have followed the video. Yeah, pretty much. Yep. Wait, what happened here? What happened here? Oh, surprise dollars from Kevin Hayes. Oh, thank you very much for the super chat. I totally appreciate it. I really do. I swear, sometimes it sounds like I'm like ambivalent about the super chats. I really do appreciate the super chats, you guys. So, thank you very much, Kevin. Kevin's my guy. We've been collaborating. We've been texting all day, coming up with some ideas on some stuff that he's doing out there in Illinois. No, not Illinois. Indiana. Which I'd like to go to Indiana sometime. It's been a real long time since I've been there. But surprises! You always got to remember to throw in the surprises when people throw in the surprise super chats. Let's see. Hey, if you two, I've got like a stinky white algae all over the substrate in my 240. No idea what it is, but I cut the light down and removed as much as I could. Seems to be working. Stinky white algae all over the substrate. That is weird. I have to think about that for a minute, honestly. Jordan Leroy hates his wisdom teeth. My first few have been pushing through and are killing me. It's from a guy over here that has all of his wisdom teeth. I know your pain. Dang, Tanks thought about making a paludarium with a lot of I don't know what bromeli. I don't know if that's spelled right. Bromeliads? What is that? Bromelidas. Bromelidas. Oh, those are a plant. Oh, those are cool. Oh, all right. I've seen those before, but I don't know what those are called. Vicky's the flower. She's the flower one here. She knows a lot of that stuff. Jordan Leroy says, who needs a protein skimmer when you have a green net? Yeah, sometimes on a new tank like this, you get some scum built up in the sump, but it's way easier. It's way easier to get it out of the sump than it is to get it out of the display. Yet another reason why I like sumps so much. Here in the video, you guys can see from this is the sump off of my 240, the 240 gallon freshwater planted aquarium, which will be coming up as I move some plants around later this week. We'll be doing some stuff in this aquarium because this one needs a little TLC right now. It just needs a little love. And you can see I'm pulling biomedia out of the front and the third chamber. I'm pulling them from both areas because I want to make sure that I get the highly oxygenated and the bacteria from a little later in the sump. I want to make sure that I get both of those, and then I'm going to add everything into the first chamber here where all the water is dropping down into. And I do realize that this probably isn't the best angle for the camera, but oh, look at that. It unfocused. Man, I even edited this video. Oh, there we go. Wait, what? What are you doing? What are you doing, camera? Well, hopefully it finds focus and it's not too bad, because I remember I clicked through this video. Okay, there we go. It looks like it's fine. I clicked through this video and it looked like it wasn't too bad. Dank Tanks is saying that sump is a beast. His sump is a beast. I love it. It's a beautiful sump. Tomic Cichlid is asking, do I add prime to water changes? Actually, no. Nowadays, I only use safe sometimes. But if you watch some of the previous live streams, we made a 3-stage push, what's called a push filter. It's not an RO DI filter. It's basically a DI filter. Realistically, it doesn't have the reverse osmosis and it doesn't have any wastewater coming off of it. So that pulls most everything out. More often than not, and occasionally I'll add a little bit of safe to the tank just to make sure, but other than that, that's pretty much all I'm doing now is a 3-stage. Let's see. Fun fact, the main ingredient in dechlorinator is also used as a fixer in black and white photography. It's an antidote to cyanide poisoning. That's true, Olympia shrimps. That is the stuff that makes you sick when you're in the dark room, that's for sure. So don't eat it or get it all over your hands. This is a super cool one of those things. I'd do if I had the room. Welcome back to the fish store. Well, back to the fish store. Well, either way, hopefully your dechlorinator's working. Just make sure to dechlorinate out of the tank before you do, before you add water back into it. And sorry about this video, just keeps going out of focus and in focus. So this this little container I'm adding right here, the reason I use a lot of these, you guys see me use a lot of these, because they're 99 cents. They have a lid and the container. They're 99 cents at Home Depot, and I normally go there and I pick up like 10 of them, and I'll cut holes in these things. I use put spare nuts and all sorts of nonsense in these things. I have them all over the place because I just abuse them because they're like $1. Yeah, Jordan Leroy, is it weird that I that I sometimes find people's sumps more interesting than their tanks? I love seeing the inner workings. Yeah, me too. Lisa C was asking, what are the 3 strange partitions near each other for? Where they put the blue foam. That's actually what's called a bubble trap, as Steven's saying there, to stop bubbles from going all the way through. Would a sump be a better option for axolotls compared to a canister filter? Yes. Hey, if you too says, I posted a pic of the white stuff on Dark Star Arts a few days ago. Oh, you mean on the Patreon? What happened here? Maybe it's on the Patreon. Why didn't I notice that? Let me see what's going on here. Where is it? Let's go back here. We're gonna click the thing. Posts. Community. There it is. The community page. Oh, I don't know. It's not on there. Oh man, it must be on Facebook. Oh man, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man. I didn't get that white stuff. I will look at that picture later, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can on that one. I didn't. Jordan's asking, did I build this something myself? No, I didn't build this something myself. I don't. Let's see. Oh, there it is. Oh, Steven Skoglund posted it into the chat. There's the Dark Star. No, now I'm confused. Okay. Sorry, man. I'm gonna figure out what picture you posted. I'm gonna figure out what picture you posted. Jay's Crazy Obsessions is here. What's up, man? Donnie Hill. Joel, got any tips on a piece of driftwood that's 5 foot long and 14-inch round to sink? Boiling is not an option. Been soaking in a large trash can for 2 months. Still won't sink. Yeah, you're gonna have to get a hammer drill and drill some holes in some big rocks and lag bolt that thing to it. Let's see here. So back to get the full explanation of how you cycle your aquarium so fast is that you're able to take this media out of a cycled aquarium. This media is carrying all the bacteria that you need on it. And the reason why this is important for this tank will be cycled tomorrow. By the time tomorrow rolls around, this tank will be cycled. Probably sooner than that, because the water volume is turning over quite rapidly in that tank, and it will be cycled really rapidly because I have cycled media on this biomedia here. This biological media, those little white cylinders with the hole in it, is a very porous material that's going to carry a ton of bacteria from a cycled tank into an uncycled tank, and that's going to do that. It's going to cycle super rapidly because it's ready to go. That all that bacteria is ready to roll. Is essentially full-grown, robust bacteria is the easiest way to kind of layman's terms it up a little bit. Now, if that 150 that I'm setting up, if that was my quarantine tank, it'll be ready super fast. And this is the same way that I would set up a quarantine tank. The only difference is I would take this biomedia and I would put it on a hang-on back. I would put it on a hang-on back filter onto a tank. Well, I'd fill it up I'd fill up the tank with water, I'd add my dechlorinator, I'd put the hang on back filter on it, and I would put this biomedia in that big hang on back filter, and it will cycle a quarantine tank just that fast. Just super fast. So it will get that cycled super duper fast, realistically. Oops, apparently I had scissors in my pocket. I was wondering what was poking me. Donnie Hill has rocks holding it down, but I don't want that look for the final display. You might be stuck with it. You might be stuck with having to drill some holes in some rocks, and maybe you could bury the rocks in the substrate so that the look is better, so that it's kind of covers up those rocks. But a giant piece of wood that floats is a giant piece of wood that floats. That's why they build boats out of it. I mean, you know, think about screwing some 12 by 12 ceramic tiles to it. Yeah, you can screw ceramic tiles to it. Ceramic tiles are essentially rocks. It's the same kind of deal. You can cut, you know, you can drill holes in the ceramic tiles. I don't like to have ceramic tiles. I don't like to have ceramic tiles in my tank because of the look, like you just said. I don't like to... the second you add media in, it's cycled. Pushing water around means nothing unless there's waste in the system. Please don't be misleading to the noobs. Well, thanks, Slumpy Dog. Whatever. So I don't like the... I don't like the ceramic tiles. I know a lot of people use the ceramic tiles. You guys know I use acrylic. Is basically what I do. Is I'll cut up acrylic and put those in. And as Jordan's saying, you can bury the tiles under the substrate. Yeah, I would just assume to bury the rocks under the substrate, and if they ever did get exposed, then it'd just be some rocks. If there's just be some good-looking rocks there, and maybe it would just look like it was coming up out of the rocks. If that makes sense. Let's see here. What do you guys make of the giant media bricks Joey has been using? Surely lots of biorings or similar have greater surface area for bacteria to colonize. I've never used the media bricks myself. I wouldn't think that there's anything wrong with those. They're probably just a more expensive version of these, which if it is a more expensive version, then I probably don't want to buy them. There are probably better biomedias out there, and I went over this earlier today, but cost is always an issue as far as I'm concerned. This is something that's going to end up all stinky and nasty in the sump, in the filter and whatever, and you know, I don't really want to be paying for diamonds, you know what I'm saying, if that makes sense in this situation. The reason why I like these ceramic ones, they work great. I don't know that many people out there that are tripping about how good their biomedia works, realistically. So that's my point. The reason I like these ceramic rings, they come in a bag, they're really easy to move around, and they're super cheap. So I don't have any association with these. I've just used a bunch of different biomedias, and this is the one that I prefer the best. If somebody wants to use something else like Joey, totally cool, man. That's awesome, and not a big deal. In response to Lumpy Dogs, please don't be misleading to the noobs. You need to push water around the tank. You need to have flow around your tank, whether it's a filter, whether it's a sump, whether it's a hang-on back filter, whether it's a canister filter, whatever it is, you need to have some water moving around. So I don't believe that I'm misleading. What I was saying about this aquarium is pushing a lot of water. There's a ton of flow in this tank. It is moving multiple 1-inch hoses up off of a pump here to move water up and down. I have a 1.5-inch siphon off of this tank. So if you know much about siphons or how big a 1.5-inch water, how much a 1.5-inch ABS line siphoning water is down, it'll give you an idea how much water flow there is. So that's what I was talking about. So let's see. Vince Grippa, do you ever get a mini cycle when you transfer media like that? Do the exact same thing you do, but occasionally a tank will go through a 3 to 5 day cycle, 2 days of ammonia and 3 days of nitrite then cycled. That realistically is the reason why I'll normally add more biomedia in anticipation of having to pull some out, if that makes sense. So I have, so these little bags right here, if we're talking about how many of these little bags I have about, I think probably like 25-ish in the 240, something around there, plus a bunch more that's loose. And that's not really going to affect and have a mini cycle in that regards, because I do have a big volume of water. I do have a big volume of biomedia, so it's not going to affect and have a mini cycle in that tank. Dr. Red Pill is asking who here breeds bristlenose plecos. I do. Potato does. I think Jennifer does, and a couple other people for sure. There's a lot of bristlenose pleco breeding going on in the world. It's realistically not that easy. It's realistically not that difficult if you have nice water quality and a couple pair of them. They'll start breeding. They'll start leaving eggs as long as nothing eats the eggs. The male will protect the eggs, and the next thing you know, you'll have baby bristlenoses going all wackadoodle all around the tank. Yeah, Americans and their inches. Yes, I'm American, and miles an hour. It's feet, inches, 5/16. Check it out. Yes, it is 2017. I use Fahrenheit also. So yeah, I get it. And yeah, I am a little bit irritated at crappy comments today. So if people really want to push it with me, you'll just get banned. It doesn't affect me. I don't care. It's all good. It's all good. Until people start getting overly comfortable with the fact that they can just go blathering on about whatever they feel like. So this is a cool community here, and I do like everybody in it. There are we do have a lot of newcomers here, which I'm very appreciative of, and that is super cool. But let's just keep it cool here and associated with what we're talking about. That is going to be probably the easiest thing, I guess, to recommend. Let's see. All right. So let's see. As Mary Beth Mabe is saying, that's pretty much the same thing what I was saying. So let's see. Bracken's bred them multiple times. Karen KZ is asking how long were the ceramic rings in the 240. I put those ones in probably, those are the newer ones. I put those in probably a month and a half ago, something along that line. It's a month and a half. So they've been in there plenty long to have fully colonized with some good bacteria and stuff like that. I think realistically, a week and a half to 2 weeks is probably the amount of time that I would say, like, just to make sure it's nicely colonized and had enough time to kind of like get coated and the bacteria kind of spread around and get kind of an effect going on that you're looking for. I've never like timed it on a stopwatch, so I couldn't really tell you exactly how long it takes the ceramic rings to get colonized, but that's really but that has been in there for a month and a half, maybe 2 months. I think probably 2 months, something along those lines. So it's definitely been in there long enough where I'm just not even concerned about it, honestly. Kevin Hayes, I throw a used sponge or media that has been cycled for in a tank for 2 weeks or more. Also, usually plants decor from a cycled tank and put fish in that day. Never had a loss. Well, I always want to quarantine my fish, and this is something that I've really tried to hit on a bunch of times, is that you really need to quarantine your fish when you can. So that's really the reality behind it, is that the quarantining is very important. As far as my reef system, most of my reef system stuff all came in at the same time. So there wasn't going to be a whole bunch of quarantining within that. But if anything else, if we go get anything else now, I will, as far as corals go, they get dipped before they go into the tank. So any potential parasites or bad bacterias or anything like that, they get cleaned off before they go into the tank. Well, with a fish, you can't really do that. You can't necessarily do that. Yes, you can treat for ick, you can Melifix, you can Pemifix and all that stuff, but that should be done in a quarantine tank. And it is great. It is great to make sure that you quarantine, and this is the way to quarantine easily without freaking out when you come home with some new fish and going, well, I'm just going to put them in my tank. I'm just going to put them in here and hope for the best. Which a lot of times fish coming from stores just don't have the time to necessarily recover, and it's hardly even the store owner's problem, except for when you're talking about Walmart or whatever. Walmart can go jump off a cliff as far as I'm concerned. That's their own fault for having garbage systems. They have all the money in the world. They could have such a better system. But most often stores just don't have time. They don't have time to nurse those fish back to health, because once they get them in, they have to put them into their display systems where you guys can see them. And oftentimes, you know, people like you and I, when we see a fish we really want, it's like, I want that one. How long has it been here? 3 days. It's like, it's been here 3 days. You know, it's just one of those things. Like, the thing's only been, it's only been here 3 days. I typically won't buy stuff that's only been at the at a store for only a couple of days. Realistically, just out of my own, like, okay, I'm gonna pass, because I've owned most of the fish and shrimp and all that stuff that I've really wanted to own. So I'm never really like in that position where I'm like, oh my god, I gotta get it. I gotta get this so bad because I've never had it before. I've owned most of the stuff that I really wanted to get. Oh, Gone Mad is back from dinner, or they're at dinner. Maybe they're at dinner, like doing dinner surprises. Maybe they're doing dinner surprises over there. Dave Schiller showing up. What's up, man? The Aquarium Cowboy is stopping back in before the stream is over. Oh, let me see here. Hold on. Dean, I don't know what happened to that picture. I honestly tried to find the fungus picture. Wherever you are, hey, if you too, Dean, just private message it to me. Just private message it to me, and we'll start getting to the bottom of it. You know how to get a hold of me, so do that, and we'll chat after the live stream, and we'll figure it out. And I'll talk about it in tomorrow's live stream to try and help out some people with that. If whatever it is, weird thing that you got going on, we'll get to the bottom of it. Mr. Science Geek is here. Hello, all. Had no idea this has been going on for an hour. Yes, it's been going on for an hour. We do this Monday through Friday, 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock, if that makes sense. Which reminds me, it is after 5 o'clock, so we're going to begin to wind it down. We didn't have any extensions. So we'll see how it's going. Or we'll see how it's going. What am I talking about? We'll allow it to wind down here because I need to give a shout out to all of the Patreonizers. All the Patreonizers out there. And get on that. What happened here? Did your video from last night upload yet? My Wi-Fi went out late last night, so it slowed down more, but it did upload today because it cut out about 8 minutes due to the phone call. The audio and the video are off. Okay, yeah, uploading to YouTube can be a nightmare sometimes. I'm prepping for a quarantine setup, so I've put in an extra sponge filter in my big tank to get it cycling, and that will move to the quarantine when I order the fish I want. Perfect. That is a great way to do it, Jennifer. I often use the biomedia instead of the sponge, but the sponge also works well if it's been in the tank for a long time. Tomorrow, I'll actually grab the sponge out of the filter floss out of the 240, and I'll move it into the 150 just to help give it a little extra, because it's coming out of the 240. The 240 is getting a replacement on that filter floss, that blue filter floss that I put in there. The 240 is getting a replacement one tomorrow, so I'm going to take that crappy one and the poopy poopy bacteria-ridden one and stick it into the sump on the 150, and then we'll be doing some planting in the 150 tomorrow. Yay! We're gonna be adding more plants and that stuff. So those of you that are excited about plants, we'll be doing some of that tomorrow. Let's see. Dr. Red Pill says, trust me, you guys are lucky to have Walmart, etc. No, we're not. And if you want to get into the talk on why Walmart has destroyed giant portions of the United States, we could be happy to talk about that. They drove all of the small businesses out of the areas where they're from. They've done a terrible work over the areas throughout the United States where they've replaced so many big business or so many small businesses with one giant business that imports everything and pays their employees $8 an hour. So it is not a good thing. It is not a good thing, and you would never get me to agree that Walmart is a good thing. No. We used to have multiple grocery stores here too. Now we're down to about three different grocery stores, which is not a good thing in my opinion either. Most of them are all combined into one conglomerate, and they just put a different sign out front, which is freaking me out, and it is not good. Walmart is not a good thing. Let's see here. I'm gonna catch up on the chat here. 25 years of fish keeping, I finally learned how to not impulse buy. Yeah, I think that just comes from time. I think that just comes from time of owning a lot of the stuff that that you were looking to own, and then it's like, well, yeah, I've already had King Kong shrimp, so I see these King Kong shrimp here, and I don't have a tank for it right now, and I'm just gonna not buy them today, you know, and I'm gonna walk over there. I think that realistically, time is the only the big deal with that one. Kevin Hayes saying, I mostly keep species only besides my reef. I do quarantine for that, of course. But often, if I get a new fish, they will be the only one in the tank. When I set up a larger planet tank, I will start quarantining. Exactly, Kevin. If you are getting one species of fish and you're buying them all at one point in time, you set up a tank and put them in there, that's essentially the quarantine tank, realistically. If they're not going to be moving to a different tank or going to be adding stuff to it, that realistically is a quarantine tank, but you would want to cycle it this same way. You'd want to cycle it quickly and get it set up and allow them to be in there. It's pretty important. Mr. Science Geek, we used to have small mom and pop hardware stores who actually helped you find parts. Then Home Depot and Lowe's came in. Just remember that Walmart was a big part of allowing Home Depot and Lowe's to expand. Just remember that the next time people are wondering what that's all about. The corrupt family paid off a lot of politicians and stuff and allowed them to move in. Let's see. Dr. Red Pill, I know they have killed small businesses. We have the same here, but a very expensive version. I mean, by having Walmart compared to Aussie versions of it. Yeah, well, you know, the underpriced products is an issue that we're all going to have to try and figure out where we're going to draw the line, honestly. PetSmart killed the mom and pop fish stores in Montana. Yeah, honestly, that's the same. That's the same version of that whole thing, you know, realistically. But I think, but it is kind of weird. It is weird stuff, and it's a long conversation, and we're almost to the end here. So since we're almost to the end, it is my job to tell you guys about the Patreon and why it's important. So the Patreon is how you guys support this channel, how I'm able to make shows, how I'm able to show up here, give you guys advice, interact with you guys, and have a good time, honestly, with y'all. This is work for me. This is a work time. This is time where I would be making money, right? So the Patreoners here are all the people that have decided to chip in a couple of bucks, from a lot of bucks to all the way down to just a little bit of bucks, and everybody is great. Everybody teaming up to help fund this. It is completely different than just watching the channel, right? I appreciate you guys watching the channel. One of my goals is to completely get rid of all advertising. So when you guys turn on the show and you notice that there's just that little 5-10 second that 5 to 10 second commercial at the very beginning, right? That's the only commercial that's left. I could turn on a bunch more commercials, a bunch of different commercials. I recently watched a couple of fish videos where there was ad breaks every friggin' 3 minutes, where I got like, oh, there's back pain medication. Oh, and then Chevy trucks, and oh, a dog food that I would never feed my dog, right? And I'm just trying to watch a friggin' fish video about somebody talking about their fish, right? And yet I gotta watch all these commercials, right? There are a ton more commercials that I could turn on and try to get AdSense to pay for it. And Lola, GTFO, lame. Like there isn't enough nonsense in the world, right? There isn't enough nonsense in the world. I might start making joke commercials and just play them to you guys and just post those up. But the reason why we only have that one little commercial at the very beginning of the show here is because of the patronizers. The patronizers, everybody chipping in a little bit here and there on the patronizers means those commercials are going away. So that there are people out there that can't chip in $1 or $5 or $10 a month, right? The Patreon is once a month, okay? And so it's like you're endorsing the product, essentially. And there are a lot of people out there that can't afford to do it, and I get it. But the Patreons, the people that are supporting right now, are the reason that all the stupid cards that come up while you're trying to watch a video and you have to click them to get them to go away, and you accidentally click on it and then you go to an ad and you miss something that happened in the show. The reason those are gone is because of the patronizers, okay? Because of the Patreon here, the people contributing to that stuff. I've turned it off, okay? That's the reason. I can go turn all those ads back on if I want, realistically. So I have control of all that stuff. I can turn it on, turn it off. But it's because of the community here, everybody showing up and chatting and helping each other out. We're giving everybody a helping hand, and this is an opportunity for people to do that Monday through Friday, 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock. So that's the value, I think, and the reason that I think it's important is that everybody chipping in to get rid of all that kind of stuff. So Dr. Red Pill is apologizing if I annoyed anyone. I joke about everything. I appreciate you joking about everything. I appreciate everybody with a good attitude. Just remember, that's what this space is. This space is a good attitude space. If people start getting out of hand, they just end up going away. You know, like there's almost 8 billion people in the planet here. You know, like what's the advantage to keeping douchey people around? And not to say that Dr. Red Pill is a douche or anything like that. Is what I'm saying is like, this is our fun space. This is our space to come in. We're going to work on projects. We're going to talk about things that are going on. You know, FU2 over there has a fungus problem. So I'm going to help him try to address that fungus problem. But that's what we're doing here. We're working on building our community, hopefully reaching out to people, making things easier for people, figuring out problems that are going on, working on their ecosystems within their buildings there, within their homes, their buildings, wherever they're doing it. And that's what the overall goal here is. I give you a little shout to the fishy mailman. Says $5 to go get some ice cream after the stream. It makes everything better. I have my chocolate peanut butter ice cream is on ice and ready for me to have it after dinner. I'm gonna make. I make dinner every night here. So that is the reason. That is the reason for the Patreon, and that's why we do it that way. Is that deal? So not to say that Dr. Red Pill was being a jerk or anything like that. You weren't, and I don't mean to like snap at people or whatever, but it is my job to keep people in line here a little bit from time to time. It is one of those things. It's just one of those things. If people start kind of straying off, it's like, hey man, whoa. Like, don't get too crazy. You know, like I swear on here a little bit, you know, I'll drop a shit here or there or whatever, but this is definitely PG-13, and the biggest reason for that is that I may swear from time to time or whatever, but it is definitely not out of rage or anything like that, or trying to offend people, if that makes sense. I know some people get super mad about it, but I don't. You know, my grandma said that bullshit was bullshit, and it's not a swear word because it's a thing. There are some swear words that I don't use though, so that's just kind of the thing. I guess just a quick explanation here at the end and what the Patreon is, so when I run through all these names, at least people have a good idea of what it is or what it's about. I don't know. But starting at the very top, we have our $20 and above Patreonizers that are so gracious to chip in more than 20 bucks a month. Steven Skoglund at $40 a month extends the Thursday show. He likes to have a longer Thursday show, so we came to an agreement. Hey man, if you're chipping in some extra money, I'll do some more work. You know, pretty easy. We also have Eric Gone Mad at $39.99, Aquarium Co-op at $250, which is pretty wild. We have Kieran Egan, who was here earlier, the fishy mailman, who just super chatted at 20 bucks. Sashimi Whiskey, if you all know Jimmy, he's one of the $20. And Long Woo, we've got some videos of going over to his house and working on his aquariums out there. At the $10 and above, we've got Joel Gillett out of New Zealand. We've got Pax. We've got Vince Grippa, who we helped out with his Rams the other day. Denzel Gregory, Nick K. Aquatics, who is regularly lurking. Rob Hicks, who I don't know where he was today. Matt Gilmet, whom I got a message from earlier. He got his shrimp painting in the mail. Jack Betts, Cichlid Bro, and M. Den Hollander, our original Patreonizer out of the Netherlands. The Netherlands. Jennifer J. Sarchicino, longtime listener, first time patronizer, but she's been patronizing twice. Oh, 2 months now. Thank you very much. Pamela Earlywine, Bracken Ward, Kevin Keener, Dean Hanoi, Dean H, otherwise known as Dean H, Theodore Schultz, Roger Deadham, Tim Lewis, Lecter Records, Candy Overhauls, Addison, Nishijima, Jim Meeker, Karen Halbert, Eve Deigel, Kevin Hayes, Gene Fensky, Karen KZ Ellis. And down here in the $1 Club, the Thrifty Club. I like the Thrifty Club just as much as all the other ones. HC Aqua, Alexandra Radin, Dean Feldman, Steve Parker, Teresa Cookies, Spencer Ballard, AMA Aquatics, Matthew Weger Hagerden, Priscilla MK, Jeff Jackson, Thomas Donchek, Nisi of the North, and Matthew. All right, so that is all the patronizers, and thank you very much to all the patronizers out there. I certainly appreciate it. I appreciate it probably more than I can really express and have it make sense. If it wasn't for you guys, we would just I'd probably just end up having to do two-minute videos a week or something like that. As you guys know, we're working on more projects with more people collaborating and stuff like that, and I'm gonna have to be able to I'm going to have to you know, help get some of the funding together to get more people here and more stuff that we're doing. You know, I can't necessarily fly somewhere for free. They won't let me on the airplane. I've tried it and they just said no. Regarding today's podcast, Aqua Clear 20, floss on top of bio or bio on top of floss. Floss on top of biomedia is the way that I would normally run those personally, because the floss you have to mess with a bunch. Hey FU2, fun show. Thank you everybody for coming out. Thank you everybody for, if I missed your chats or anything here, feel free to pop into the community tab on Patreon and post them up there. That is the best way. That is the best way to get addressed in the show, is the community tab on the Patreon. I always go through that before the show gets going. I always look through those messages and all that stuff. That is what And that is essentially the best way to get onto the show. If you have a question, if you have like a photo of something that's going on with your water parameters and the kind of stuff that's going on, like what you're up to, you can post it on the community tab. And it is super cool that they added the community tab, because it is a lot of fun to be able to post stuff up on there. Honestly, it's pretty cool. So I hope everybody has a great, safe night out there. Extra thank you to Kevin Hayes and the Fishy Mailman for your super chats today. I very much appreciate it. It all goes back into making more shows. So, what is tomorrow? Tomorrow is Wednesday. So we'll be doing some rock stuff and planting some plants tomorrow. So pay attention to for Wednesday the 4th. October 4th coming up, and I'll go ahead and say later.